So, ladies and gentlemen, the first weekend of the Black Ops Cold War beta is officially over. It ended today, and we don't get to play the game now until October the 15th. That is when it goes live on PC, Xbox, and PS4, all of the consoles. They'll probably up the level cap, add a couple of new things, game modes, maps, that kind of thing. And then later that weekend, it's going to go free to play for everyone, so you don't have to have pre-ordered the game. But with the end of weekend one, I wanted to jump in and give my honest opinions on the beta. And I have to say, for the most part, it is an improvement over the alpha. I think the biggest thing that they improved was the movement mechanics. It just feels more fluid, a little bit better than the alpha did. But to me, as soon as I started playing the beta, on the Thursday, there were some major glaring issues that for me weren't even there in the alpha, but after playing the game more and more really stood out and that I wanted to talk about. And to be honest, the reason why I'm talking about these is because it's a beta. I'm not just trying to complain about the game. I'm trying to make it better, give my feedback, and hopefully for the launch of the game, everything that we talk about today can actually be fixed, because everything that I'm going to talk about today actually has a pretty easy fix. So this is the list of shit. This is something that we made on stream over the weekend as a community. We put it together with our grievances, complaints, and this is what we came up with. So throughout this video, we are going to go through the list of shit and discuss everything that can be improved through the game. And on top of that, I'm going to talk about some good things scattered throughout as well, because the game's not all bad. I just want it to be better for launch. So let's be very clear about that. But let's start off with the big one right away. This is something that literally at points almost made the game unplayable to me, and it was the lag. Now, it's not necessarily like your typical type of Call of Duty lag, and I'm not exactly sure why it was happening, but essentially the game became jittery. There were ghost bullets, like I'm shooting at someone and bullets are just disappearing, going through them. I don't know, and I'm not sure exactly why it happened. I was playing on 90 field of view, which is a little bit above normal, not too much above normal. That could have been causing it. It could have been the servers. It could have been the game not optimized properly, but it was really, really bad at times. Like borderline unplayable, because you'd shoot at someone, your bullets just wouldn't hit, and then they'd shoot you with no problem. And I don't know why this would happen. Sometimes I'd have a really good game, and then the game after that, it would be insanely laggy. I don't know if that was a part of skill-based matchmaking or whatever it is. I know sometimes in their alphas and betas, they put us on crappier servers. I don't know why. They just rent crappier servers for those events. And then later, once the game's actually released, it's on the final server, so that might make it better. But this needs to be fixed. This was my biggest complaint by a long shot. It was at times so aggravating that they improved all of these things like movement and the game felt better, but because of this lag, it just took it completely away from me. And like I said, some games were literally just unplayable because of the lag. Now, the next thing, probably my next biggest complaint, and I don't know why they did this, is after every single game, they disbanded the game. So basically, you'd finish a game, and everyone you were just playing with goes away into all their separate games, just like they did in Modern Warfare. Now, this is bad for several reasons. First of all, if you get in a good lobby with maybe some worse players, and you want to keep playing with them and keep doing well, you can't. It disbands you. On top of this, if you get in a game where you're with a rivalry, maybe the other guy talks some crap, and now you want to beat him in the next game. Nope, you can't do that. The game won't let you. To me, this is just an integral part of Call of Duty, being able to stay in lobbies with other random people, maybe build a rivalry, maybe stomp on them a little bit, but you can't do that. And because of this, the game was also putting me into games that were literally almost over, like a team deathmatch game that was at 70 points out of 75, or a game that my team is just totally getting crushed in, and it would happen more frequently because after every game, games were getting disbanded. Now, this brings us into our next point, which is skill-based matchmaking. I can't prove that there is skill-based matchmaking in this. You just can't look at other players' stats, so I can't make a graph. I can't do anything like that. To me, it felt like there was skill-based matchmaking. It felt like every time after I had a game with like an 8 or 9 kill death, the next game would be pure sweats. I can't prove that. That is just something that I felt based off of feel. We're not going to go into that ad nauseum. We've talked about it before. I have a single video dedicated to that. What I will say is what I want is personally a ranked playlist and then a non-ranked where there is little or no skill-based matchmaking. It's been said before, I'll say it again, that needs to be done. And also, the disbanding of parties makes it easier for them to put you in more sweaty lobbies and adjust who you're playing with based off of how well you're doing. So that just amplifies that skill-based matchmaking even more. After this, we're going to dive into the individual maps, because I think this is an interesting area to look. So first of all, we have Miami. This, in my opinion, is the worst map in the game. Period. It's too big. The spawns, I think, are a little bit better than the alpha. Like, it spawns you a little bit closer to the action, but the map is just too big for 6v6. I found myself running around so much without finding a gunfight. The flow of the map just isn't good, in my opinion. Just not a fan of this map. I think the only way that they can really fix this is to make it quite a bit smaller or remove it from the game. I will say the map looks really pretty. I just don't like how it plays. After this, we have Armada. Probably one of the most interesting maps that we've seen in Call of Duty. The problem with this one is the spawns. So if you're playing this in Domination or a Combined Arms Domination, 95, maybe even 99% of the time, it will spawn you at the very back ship on the side that your team is on. And because of this, you have to run to the front of the ship, go on the zip line, go to the middle boat, run to a gunfight, and if you die, you just repeat this over and over and over again. And because of this, most of the time playing on the map, you were just running to gunfights. Now, this is something that was in the patch notes that they said they were going to be fixing, and for me playing on this, no, they did not fix this whatsoever at all. So this is something that they need to fix, the spawns on this. I will say I played a bunch of Combined Arms Assault, and the spawns in Combined Arm Assault are way better than Domination, because once you take a flag, it spawns both teams closer to that flag, so you get in gunfights faster and faster. So I will say, in the division of Combined Arms, I much prefer Assault to Domination, but sometimes the games can be a lot shorter. That being said, though, Combined Arms Assault on Armada doesn't work because the last flag is literally in the other team's spawn, which makes almost impossible for the attacking team for that flag to actually get it. But that's a whole other story. The next map, Cartel. I think this is a good map, but it has big problems. So first of all, the biggest problem, I shouldn't even need to say this, the bushes that cover almost the entire middle of the map. Why? Just whose idea was that we're going to add bushes where if someone runs through them, they literally disappear and you can't see them, you can't see their nameplate, they're just gone. I don't know why that's a thing. So get rid of those, or if you're not getting rid of those, shorten them. Make it so that the only way someone can hide their whole body in them is if they're laying prone. Yeah, it's still a little annoying, but at least that way someone who's running through the middle of the map can still be seen. Or get rid of the bushes and add some other things like vehicles or some things like that people can get behind in the middle of the map. But the other complaint I have with this is that this map is simply too big for 6v6. I think that this is the best 12v12 map or Combined Arms game. I think that one reason for that is there's less vehicles, there's only motorcycles, so you're not getting blown up by tanks or shot by boats. By the way, tanks still way OP, need to be nerfed even more. I couldn't even notice a difference from the alpha. Maybe the only difference is they're a bit easier to kill, but still, basically every time you shoot a tank, it's a one-shot kill. But Cartel, too big for 6v6. Now, I really think this can be fixed. I think this can be one of the better maps in the game for 6v6 if you just take out a bunch of the spawn area. So I made this here, and that red area that you're seeing on screen, I think in 6v6 can totally be taken out, the spawns pushed forward, and all of a sudden this will become a much more fast-paced map. It's still not even a small map when you do this, but with the spawns pushed forward, you won't spawn at the back of the map anymore, which means that you'll get into gunfights faster and it'll play faster. I honestly think you could probably do this with 12v12 too. It might be a little bit too chaotic, but I think this map could be really good if you fix the bushes, and on top of that, you just make those spawn areas a little bit smaller. Now, I don't know if they can do that, if they can just limit it off, block it off with rocks or something, but I honestly think that could make the map a lot better. After this, we have Satellite. This is, in my opinion, one of the best maps in the game, but what I did notice is from the alpha to the beta spawns on this map flip way too easily. You can literally just spawn, and you'll have one teammate in their spawn, and all of a sudden, their entire team is spawning behind you of where you just spawned. And this is only in Team Deathmatch and Kill Confirmed, so rather kind of specific, but I did notice that. Moscow, my personal favorite map. I love this map. I really have no complaints about it. And then Crossroads, this one's pretty straightforward. I just think it's too big, and I don't like tanks, so I'm just not a big fan of Crossroads. And as far as like maps as a whole, I want to see some smaller maps, man. Like, we have Moscow and Satellite. Those are kind of like the two small maps, but they're not really small. If you look at Modern Warfare, the probably most played maps are Shipment and Shoot House, and they keep adding these bigger maps to the games. I think they need to realize that people want these small, super fast-paced maps, but hopefully we get more in the second weekend or at the launch of the game. But give me some smaller maps, man. Now, for the next thing that we have to talk about, we have artillery. So artillery is super annoying to me. First of all, we don't have flak jacket to help us counter it if it just kind of hits near us. So if it hits near you, you're dead. On top of this, there is absolutely no notification when an artillery is coming your way. They say enemy artillery incoming, but it says that no matter where you are on the map. So to me, they should have something on the mini map that displays like a predator missile showing you where the artillery is going to go. That way you can try to get to safety before it kills you, because I found 80% of the time when an enemy called in artillery, it would hit me because it gave them a UAV sweep, would tell them where I am, they call it in on me, and then I didn't know if it was coming my way or not. So I think that's something that needs to be added in. The next one that's really big is the game literally breaks my controller. You didn't hear me wrong, and I've heard that this has happened to other people, but sometimes when a game is loading, it'll just turn off my controller, and if I try to turn it back on, the light will just flash on it, and then to fix it, I have to unplug my PlayStation, make sure the controller's off, plug the PlayStation back in, wait for the PlayStation to kind of fix itself, then plug my controller into the console, wait for that to work, and then we're good to play again. I have never seen this in a game before, and that definitely needs to be fixed. After this, snipers. Snipers are still way too OP. Honestly, I felt like snipers were actually better in the beta than they were in the alpha, mainly because everyone was playing on controller, and they added aim assist for snipers on console. On top of this, snipers need to have flinch. It doesn't need to be a huge flinch. It just needs to be to the point where it bumps them off of target a little bit, so it adds a little bit of a skill gap, so only good snipers can really be good. The problem with this is, with snipers mainly being a one-shot kill, you can shoot them 4 times with an assault rifle because the health is 150, and they'll just aim down sights, shoot you once, and you're dead. You lose the gunfight because there is no flinch. Honestly, this was probably one of my other biggest complaints, was the snipers. If you got into a game where everyone on the other team was sniping and they were at all decent at it, you were just screwed. Now, the other thing is oddly specific, but I definitely noticed it, was weapon leveling. So I heard a lot of people complaining about this, that weapon leveling was taking a really long time. Basically, a lot of people kind of added it up, and it seems if you want to get a weapon to max rank, you essentially have to play with it for about 8 hours in game. That doesn't include sitting in lobbies or anything like that, which if there's like 30 weapons in the final game, that's like 240 hours or 10 days of playtime. So a little bit long in my opinion. I think if you did more like half of that, like 4 hours to fully level up a weapon, I think that's pretty decent, especially once the game actually comes out. People like that grind, but in a beta, you don't really get a chance to experience all of the attachments and things like that, and maybe that's the way they wanted it, but to me, it was just taking a little bit too long. And then the last one is grenades. Holy crap, did grenades do a lot of damage. It seemed like if you just threw a grenade across the map, it was 50-50 whether you were getting a kill with it or not. It was pretty insane how strong they were. Now, part of this problem is that Flak Jacket was not available in the game, and Danger Close was the main wildcard people were using, so everyone had 2 grenades and nothing to counter grenades because nobody could use Flak Jacket. Whoever thought of making that the design decision for the beta, I don't know what you were thinking, but really, really bad decision. So I think we'll get a better idea of how grenades actually feel once Flak Jacket is available in the second weekend of the beta. Now, to be honest with you, I still enjoyed the beta. I still had a good time with it. I'm looking forward to next weekend and the game eventually coming out. I think if they fix that lag, I will have an infinite more amount of fun with this game. Also, the skill-based matchmaking, something's got to give there. I would really love for Activision just to make a statement or tell us how it works, because I think if it remains in the same form that it is now, I think it's going to turn a lot of people off the game. And not necessarily because they can't just pub stomp or anything like that. I will say the game gets boring if every single game you're like a 1.5 kill death or 1 kill death, or get 2 kills and then die, 2 kills and then die, because everyone's around the same skill level as you. It just gets boring. It's overly repetitive, and in this game you can't even earn the highest streaks unless you go on like a 10 kill streak or a couple of 10 kill streaks a game. So we'll have to wait to see what they say or do about that, but my guess is we probably won't hear anything about SBMM anytime soon. But all in all, I had fun. The two things that I want to see hopefully next weekend or moving forward are fix that lag, make a mention of skill-based matchmaking, tell us what's going on with that, which I doubt will happen, but a man can dream, and also some smaller maps. That's what I would like to see, but if I missed anything, you have some other opinions, feel free to let me know what you think down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, it is always appreciated if you do hit that like button, and if you'd like to stay up to date on everything Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Black Ops, Cold War, Warzone, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, peace out.